It is Semana Santa, and I do cover up my orishas. So this video is in response to Joseph Babaifa, a fellow YouTuber, a gentleman that I very much I enjoy his content, his channel, and disagrees with covering up one's orishas in a white cloth. And he does so very eloquently by explaining via Odu. And you can't argue with that. But that there's a difference between religion and culture. In a nutshell, if you haven't heard of this, there's this idea that during Semana Santa, it is a time in which one covers their orishas with a white cloth. The idea being, in a nutshell, that it's a respect to Jesus Christ. More on that is, we're not slaves anymore, we no longer have to live in fear, and it's no longer a custom that we need to do. So the other side of that coin is the camp that I fall into. I see the Catholic synchronicities as preserving the ways of old to today's modern sensibilities. And where do you preserve what the founders constructed and established to refute what Joseph Babaifa states? I can't do it based on Odu because I don't know my Odu, okay? So you got me there, brother. But I want to make an argument insofar as there's religion, Ifa, Santeria, and then there's culture. I want to make sure that you see that I have a source so that you see that I'm not talking out of my ass because I'm only 3 years old in Ocha and people are going to say, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This to put it in context, we're talking about a book that was published in the early 50s. And Lydia Cabrera spoke to santeras that were in their 70s and 80s, which means we're talking about people that were crowned and born around the 1870s, 1880s, who would have known Efuche, Latuan, Adechina. We're talking about the founders. They would have known them. Lydia Cabrera writes, and I quote, "The late Calixta Morales, who could recite the Catholic Catechism from memory and was one of the most honorable Ialochas, Santeras, in Havana, said that in the end," quote, this is a quote from Calixta Morales, "the Santos," and notice she says Santos and not orishas, "the Santos are the same here and in Africa. They're the same with different names. The only difference is that ours eat a lot and need to dance, while yours are satisfied with incense and oils and they don't dance." Page 92 of El Monte, at least the English version. "Upon returning home, the santero offers a legua, a goat or a rat, a black rooster, a chick, or a hutia. He has never offered pigeons. He does not eat that, neither do his children, but Echwaye does eat them. Hens are ewo, taboo for our leguases. Before offering the sacrifice of said animal, older santeros will recite the Apostles' Creed and an Our Father." As Cabrera notes, a ritual visit to a Catholic church was already falling out of fashion in the 1950s, and only older santeros recited Catholic prayers before making sacrificial offerings to Echuelegua. These founders, this is what was established in their lifetimes. And then it got unpopular in the 1950s. This is page 125 now. "My old informant, Omitomi, invariably salutes the new moon by making the sign of the cross and uttering this prayer, which she teaches to her grandchildren and close family." So this woman, she gives milk to the new moon. She shows it, the moon, a 1-cent coin. Now, continues, "She recites an Our Father, 3 Hail Marys, and a Glory be to the Father, Gloria Padre." This is how the true old school, because everybody claims old school. My lineage the oldest, and we do things the right way. If you want to do things the true old school way, we're talking 1890s, when slavery had already been, abolished, and people were just doing this voluntarily, and it just became tradition. It became the culture. And religiously, there's no need to cover up your orishas. Religiously, there's no need to take your Yahweh to the church, at least based on Odu. I'll say Odu based. Odu based, there's no need to recite Our Fathers and Hail Marys and Apostles' Creed before giving any offering to any Orisha. But culturally, traditionally, that's what was done. And I want to be a preserver of what was done. But if that's the way the founders and the pioneers, like that's what they taught and that's what they clung to, then I'm going to do the same. I'm not going to put any words in the mouth of the dead. But if we were to time travel and take a santera from between the years of 1870s or 1860s to 1940 and bring them to our time, what would that conversation look like when we tell this person, we're living in new times, we've modernized, and the religion has evolved? Would they agree with us? Or would they say, this is what I was taught by them, and this is what has been established by them? So I don't know how you do things in 2024. I don't know why you do these things in 2024 when this was not established by the founders. How would they look at us? Did we stray too far from what was established by the founders? Is that what they would think of us? I find it interesting that these new implementations of excluding that which the founders had established didn't start until the death of the last founder. And then the new generation, which we in the 2024 would consider the old generation, they started to implement their own ideas and ideals as to what should and should not be implemented. Anybody after Obadi May would have said, okay, so all the founders are dead. The time is 1955 and the founders are dead. What do we agree with and disagree with? And that which we disagree with, we're gonna leave in the past. And that which we do agree with, we're gonna continue going on. Look at how it's evolved. And some can say for the better, some can say for the worse. So look at how we in the modern world kind of, I don't want to say look down, but look at the evolution of how things work out, you know? And it's a choice. Preserve the ways of old or move with the future. At the expense of losing the ways of old? Of course, it's keeping everything within its historical context. Different times, different people, different ways of thinking. But keep that in mind. If we in 2024 and beyond, at least don't forget that these customs of covering your orishas, of saying an Apostles' Creed before feeding it, like, why? I never knew that until reading this book and I was shocked. At least if we want to disagree with what the founders and the pioneers created, then at least let's just be honest with ourselves, intellectually honest, and say, well, this is how things were done, but I disagree with it. That's why I don't do it. As opposed to, it's just wrong. I think it's wrong to tell the founders of the religion and the pioneers and Calixto Morales and all these people that they were wrong. And someone's got to preserve it, you know? So if I see someone recite an Apostles' Creed before giving it a guap, I'm going to keep shut and be like, well, because now I know, I'm going to keep shut instead of judge them and say, no, it's sancocho. No, that's the way things were done. And for me to think otherwise, now I'm the one who's ignorant. You get what I'm saying? This video has gone on for way too long. Peace out. Ibru, Iboya, Ibo Cheche, Ifatalade.